Hey, in this lesson, we're going to cover a critical rhythmic tool that you've got to have if you're an acoustic blues fingerpicker. All right, we're going to have some fun today, and we're going to cover a really big topic when it comes to fingerpicking and acoustic blues. And we're going to do that, since it's Christmas, by talking about jingle bells and what we can kind of do to use this big idea. You can pick up the tab for the full arrangement. We're just going to cover a few bars here, but the full arrangement you can pick up. Check the link in the description. All right, so what are we talking about? We're going to talk about syncopation, and that idea that syncopated sort of melody line happens so much in like Piedmont blues and in ragtime blues. So this is something you really want to get to know. But what is it? Well, it's really all about playing an important note on kind of an unimportant beat. Maybe not unimportant, but maybe a weaker beat or an unexpected beat. That's when you start to get into syncopation. And we can illustrate this just by having a look at the first few lines of Jingle Bells. Let's take the chorus, the jingle bells, jingle all the way part. Well, that part, when you play it strictly on the beat, stripping away any syncopation, sounds like this. There's definitely nothing wrong with that, and it's a great way to get started with your finger picking. Notice how we sort of played everything right on top of the beat. So we did this alternating bass thing in the key of C, and we started pinching the melody notes here. And everything was played right on top of the beat. So that's very expected. But you can have some fun and kind of put some life into this by playing some of those melody lines off of the beat. So watch this, just a simple change. We're not going to change the first bar, but now let's change things as we head into the second bar. Okay, the difference might sound subtle to you, but as you start trying to pick this out on the guitar, you're going to find that some of those notes are actually shifted a little bit forward. So take that part where we're pinching the E notes. That's the Jingle Bells part. But what we're going to do at the end of this measure is hit the first one on the end of 4 rather than on top of the one beat of the next measure. Okay, so this entire part is played in C, and we're doing this alternating bass between 5, 4, 6, 4. These are the string numbers. And we're playing the same melody, the same content, but we're kind of rushing things a little bit. But we're doing it in time, so we're not playing out of time here, but what we are doing is stressing a very important note on an off beat. So what do I mean by off beat? Well, in this case, we're syncopating on the 8th notes. So instead of playing on one of those strong 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, each of those melody notes was played right on top of the beat. Now what we're going to do, especially as we head into the second measure here, we're going to anticipate that main beat a little bit by playing the open first string here early. So the 2 bars, you'll really hear the syncopation as you head into the second bar, and it'll sound like this. Okay, so this entire part is played 4 bars over C, and I'm just doing an alternating bass line here between strings 5, 4, 6, 4. Just a basic C form there. And then we're reaching down lower and hitting that G in the bass. So that's the bass that continues, but the key is what we're doing on top of the bass with the melody. That's the part that we're syncopating. And syncopation usually works great when you've got something to contrast it against. And we've got these solid quarter notes right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now when we start playing in between these beats, that really gives us that syncopated feel. And that's what we're doing with Jingle Bell. The first part will play the same. Right there on the and of 4, just as we exit that first measure, we're going to play really what was the first beat of the next measure. So we're kind of pulling that open E back into the first bar on the and of 4. So we're kind of anticipating that major beat, that real strong 1 beat, the downbeat that's coming up next. And then we're actually playing that beat by itself as we let this kind of hang over the top of it. Then we keep going. Kind of keep that idea rolling right along. And then as the melody moves, we're going to syncopate some different notes. So let me play through the entire piece and really listen for where the melody seems to jump a little bit and where it would be off of the beat. And it did it there. Instead of we played on more of an 8th note subdivision. And it gives us a little bit of life. And again, this can be heard in tons of Piedmont blues and that ragtime feel. It's definitely sort of a backbone of that ragtime blues feel and something that you should really get to know. So you want to know how to play in between the beats. And I would encourage you to practice with something as simple as Jingle Bells. Now I say simple, that doesn't mean it's easy. It can be very confusing to your fingers, your brain, when you're trying to learn how to do a bass line and keep it going while adding notes on top. You'll have a tendency to want to pinch everything and play on the beat, but try displacing one. This is a great exercise. And then eventually you can carry that concept through an entire tune like Jingle Bells, and you might come up with something like this. Happy holidays from Blues Guitar Institute. I really appreciate you following along, tuning in, and grabbing these lessons week after week. It means the world to me, so thank you so much. I'll be here next week playing some more cool acoustic blues and helping you out, so be sure to hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up if you dig this, and I'll be back next week. Until then, happy holidays and play on.